Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. In this module, we will discuss about the introduction of microbial growth, then fermentation process, fermentation techniques, applications of fermentation technology, beer production process, advantages and disadvantages of fermentation. So, starting with the fermentation definition. Fermentation word is derived from Latin verb fervere, which means to boil. This technology has been perceived in different sense by the world of microbiologists and biochemists. For biochemists, fermentation is a catabolic process leading to generation of energy, whereas according to industrial microbiologists, fermentation is the process of mass cultivation of microorganisms that convert substrate into valuable products through aerobic or anaerobic route. So, figure 1 outlines the fermentation technology. We can here see the whole process divided mainly into three main parts. One is propagation of microorganism, another is fermentation process, and another one is separation and purification methods. We can here see that how the stock culture is converted into shake flask and then sent to the seed fermenter. In the process, medium raw materials, medium formulation or medium sterilization is done so that the microbes can grow on a sterile medium. This sterile medium is added in the seed fermenter as well as in the fermenter production cell, where this fermentation process takes place and these culture fluid is further separated into cell separation. One part goes as biomass, whereas the other part cell free supernatant, which leads to product extraction, and finally, there is product purification and product packaging, and the effluent treatment is done for the remaining part. Fermentation technology has wide application for production of products like organic solvents, fermented beverages, and other products like enzymes, amino acids, vitamins, pharmaceuticals, etc. Fermentation process is dependent on microbial growth, which in turn is governed by many biochemical and physical parameters. The motive of all parameters is to provide the most stable environment for the growth of microorganisms. Next, discussing about microbial growth. The most important criteria of fermentation process is to achieve good yield of product, which in turn is dependent on proper microbial growth. The microorganism requires specific pH, temperature, oxygen, minerals, energy source and other raw material conditions to complete their life cycle under 6 phases as illustrated in the figure. These different phases are: first one is lag phase, is the phase where no microbial growth phase or also known as acclimatization period, when the newly inoculated microorganism adapt to their new environment and hence show no increase in number. The second phase is acceleration phase. It is the period when microbes start increasing in number, which is followed by log phase. Log phase is the period between microbes demonstrated exponential increase in their number and utilizes most of the raw materials for their growth. Stationary phase is the static stage when microbes does not show any change in their number and their growth arrest at this point, probably due to the depletion of energy sources in the media, constraints of space and accumulation of toxic end products. The final phase is death phase. Death phase is the time where microbes show steady decline in their number due to loss of ability to reproduce and indicate the climax of their growth period. All these phases of microbial life illustrate a sigmoidal curve, and depending on the type of product, particular phase is considered for their harvest. For example, the process where cell biomass is required, microbes are harvested after exponential growth, whereas when secondary metabolites are the major product, harvest is done after their production in stationary phase. The fermentation process is divided into three parts. These are batch process, feed based and continuous process. Batch fermentation is closed system where no further addition or removal of materials are followed until all the stages of microbial life cycle are completed and product is formed. After completion, the product is removed and processed under various downstream processes. Another type of fermentation process is feed batch, where nutrients are fed more than one time during microbial cultivation, but products are harvested only at the end of the process. This method provides opportunity to control the yield and productivity of the process by adding limiting nutrients at defined phase of cell growth. The most valuable method for high turnover of industrial products is the continuous fermentation that allows continuous supply of nutrients and raw materials. To maintain a static environment inside the vessel, products are also harvested continuously from the overflow of fermenter. The exponential growth of microbes is maintained for prolonged period, which is suitable for production of primary metabolites such as organic acids, amino acids, single cell protein, etc. The exponential growth of microbes is maintained for a prolonged period, which is suitable for production of primary metabolites such as organic acids, amino acids, single cell protein, etc. Further, fermentation process. It can be divided into aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic need maintenance of oxygen deficient or supplemented aseptic conditions. No aeration device is needed as the gases generated during the process enable satisfactory mixing. The environment inside the vessel needs to be maintained like oxygen scarce during the whole process, which is maintained by flushing a mixture of carbon dioxide, hydrogen and nitrogen in the head space of the fermenter. Other process is aerobic, which requires large volume of oxygen, approximately 60 times the medium volume are required for aerobic fermentation process. Fermenter. To accomplish sterilized conditions along with the uniform distribution of media, air, pressure and timely escape of products, a special vessel known as fermenter is employed. In addition to the above mentioned conditions, a fermenter should facilitate the following functions. A fermenter should meet the requirement of contaminant, that means to prevent the escape of viable cells during fermenter process or downstream processing. It should provide continuous online monitoring of undergoing process through pH, temperature and pressure sensors. A fermenter should provide stable environment required for the process with minimum consumption of operating power, maintenance, labor, construction cost, etc. A pilot scale fermenter should provide the opportunity of scaling up the process. The design of a fermenter or common bioreactor is shown in the figure along with all its different parts like impeller, sterile nutrient medium, then antifoam and acid base pipes, pressure gauze, filtered waste gas pipe, compressed air gas pipe, steam pipe, cold water inlet, etc. Now, principles of chemical engineering applied to design a fermenter. A typical bioreactor has the following parts. Number 1, agitator. It is used for uniform mixing of media constituents and to keep the cells suspension homogeneous. Agitation also approves air dispersion and random transfer of oxygen and heat. The most important function of an agitator is to reduce shear forces and forming products during the biochemical conversion. To achieve homogeneous environment through the vessel, different types of stirrer or impellers such as disc turbine, vaned disc, open turbine and propeller are used. All these agitators are designed to achieve objectives of gas phase and bulk fluid mixing. Next, aeration system. Aeration system plays the crucial role along with agitators to supply sufficient oxygen to growing cells without causing any damage to them. The device used for this purpose is known as sparger. Sparger is needed for efficient aeration by bubbling of air through the medium, as surface aeration is insufficient for submerged cultures. The kind of aeration system required in a fermenter is characterized by the type of process and attributes of media constituents and microbial culture. For high viscosity broths, it is desired that fermenters with height or diameter in the ratio of 5:1 to provide uniform mixing by aeration system only and save equipment and power cost. But for fungal cultures, proper mixing by agitators is required. The spargers have been employed with variable designs such as orifice sparger, nozzle sparger or combined sparger agitator, etc. Number 3, baffles. Baffles are the metal strips attached radially to the vessel wall to prevent whirl formation and to perform efficient aeration. Their length may be 1/10 of the vessel diameter with diameter less than 3 meters and their number varies from 4 to 8. Wider baffles are advised to have positive effect on agitation efficiency as compared to narrow baffles. A gap between the baffles and fermenter wall prevent microbial growth at the vessel level. Specially designed fermenters are employed for specific product production which depends on the process kinetics, the kind of raw materials used and the magnitude of process parameters required during the process. Next comes the stirred tank fermenters. These are usually used for batch fermentation and are equipped with impellers for proper stirring and sparger for efficient aeration. These are usually made up of glass or steel body of 20 liter capacity. The height to diameter ratio of a stirred tank bioreactor is usually between 3 to 5 meters. The diameter of the impellers are typically one-third of the vessel diameter. The negative pressure produced by the rotation of impellers allow efficient gas transfer and circulation without causing any damage to the culture. Different types of impellers such as Rustum disc, concave vaulted marine propeller etc. are used depending on the product and environmental conditions required during the process. In a stirred tank fermenter, steady state conditions are achieved by either chemostat or turbidostat operation as shown in the figure. The former includes alteration of the flow rate of the vessel to a suitable value that allows microorganisms, substrates and biochemical product concentration to attain their natural levels. The turbidostat requires an experimental determination of the turbidity, that is indirect measurement of the microbial concentration. Stirred tank fermenters provide the advantage of continuous operation, low operation cost and control over the processes. Tower fermenter or bubble column. These are named so because of their elongated body with aspect ratio of 10:1 and introduction of air at the base from perforated pipes. The bottom aeration creates a high pressure zone which facilitates oxygen solubility in the medium. The expanded head space reduces pressure and allow the expanded head space reduces pressure and allows expulsion of gases produced during the biochemical reaction. Such fermenters utilize non-agitated vessels for mycelial fermentations of products such as citric acid and tetracycline. Then cylindrical fermenters. These are used mostly in brewery industry. Such fermenter consist of hemispherical top and a conical base for easy separation of yeast and fermenting microbe. The usual aspect ratio is 3:1. The mixing is achieved non-mechanically by rapid rising of CO2 bubbles in the vessels. Owing to their use for beer production, they are fitted with cooling jackets that are used for flocculation and settling of yeast. Cylindro-conical fermenters provide advantages of reduced process and maturation time and possibility of primary fermentation and conditioning in the same vessel. Next, airlift fermenters are shown in the figure. These are used for aerobic fermentations that ensure cyclic liquid flow for efficient aeration. The fermenter is divided into a riser tube and a downcomer tube. Oxygen is introduced through the base of the riser tube by a sparger that allows rise of broth towards upward. The down tube is less aerated, due to which the density of both broth increases and causes its downward movement. The cyclic process continues and the undesired gases are blown out of the vessel through gas disengagement chamber. Airlift fermenters may be of inner loop or externally placed riser tube. In both the cases, liquid density difference between the riser tube and the downcomer tube drives the circulation of the medium. Such fermenters are employed for the production of methanol, single cell protein or wastewater treatment where high rate to aeration and agitations are required for the process. The external loop riser configuration is flexible and the change in the conformation increases the oxygen transfer rate as well as mass transfer coefficient for a specific airflow rate. Such reactors reduce the operational cost for impelling air through the fermenter and thus are preferred over stirred tank fermenters. Then fluidized bed fermenters. We can see in the picture, these are packed with solid material suspended in an upward flowing fluid. The solid material is usually a catalyst which is responsible for biochemical conversion of substrates in the medium into products. The velocity of liquid is maintained such that the solid material behaves like a fluid and surpasses any need of agitation. These reactors are basically used to produce petroleum products from crude oil, rubber, polythene, etc. through some catalytic processes. Then photobioreactors. We can see some typical type of photobioreactors in the photographs. These are used for the systems that need proper illumination through sunlight or artificial light. These have large surface to volume ratio consisting of flat panels or array tubes arranged vertically or horizontally to facilitate better light penetration and gas transfer. The culture, which is generally algae or cyanobacterium, are circulated through the transparent glass or plastic tubes using airlift pumps and never allowed to sediment. A cooling system is always required in such fermenters to avoid temperature rise, which is maintained at 25 to 40 degrees centigrade. The microbes grow during daylight and yield product at night hours. Various configuration of photobioreactors are possible such as tubular, horizontal, Christmas tree, etc., which provide the advantage of space saving and protection from contamination. Fermentation techniques. There are two main techniques, one is solid state fermentation and other is submerged fermentation. In solid state fermentation, microorganisms are cultivated on the surface of a liquid or solid substrate. Here, it is a complicated and rarely used in industry, mainly used in production of mushroom, bread, cocoa and tin, etc. Whereas, submerged fermentation, microbes grow in a liquid medium. It is simple and used in routine. Protein, biomass, antibiotics, enzymes and sewage treatment are carried out by this process. Applications. Application of ferment technology. The advances in fermenter designing and fermentation technology have led to the commercialization of a number of fermented products. Various kinds of food and food additives are manufactured using industrial fermentation technology in developing countries. Wild type and recombinant microorganisms are used in the production of many products as discussed follow. Alcoholic beverages like whiskey, rum, brandy, beer, wine, etc. Milk and milk products as cultured milks, yogurt, cheese. Microbial flavors as vanillin, benzaldehyde and lactones. Biofuels like ethanol, acetone, butanol, etc. Microbial polysaccharides like dextran, xanthan gum and fullulan. Food additives and ingredients like L-glutamic acid and L-aspartic acid. Vitamins, vitamin A, C, B12 and riboflavin. Enzyme, amylase, invertase, protease. Organic acids like lactic acid, citric acid, acetic acid, etc. Further, now we will discuss about the beer production process, also called brewing. Brewing is basically a two-phase process. where in the first phase a carbon source is soaked in water to extract its flavors bracket called steeping, and then fermentation of the swept liquid is carried out by yeast. The most preferred carbon source for brewing is melted barley because of its fibrous husk and rich content of amylase that converts starch into sugars. The brewing process takes place under steps that include malting, mashing, lutering, boiling, fermentation, filtration and finally packing. The beer production process is shown here in the figure step by step. Malting. The malting process includes soaking of a grain in water to allow germination for about 5 days and then roasting the partially germinated grain at different temperatures and time to produce different colors of malt for the same grain. This also results in development of different flavors of the beer. There are basically 3 varieties of malt based on their kindling temperature. Pale malt is dried by roasting at maximum temperature of 85 degree centigrade. Caramel malt is roasted at 150 degree centigrade. Roasted malt is heated up to 225 degree centigrade that imparts a dark color and characteristic flavor to the malt. Kindling is followed by milling that breaks the kernels and exposes the parts that contain most of the carbohydrates and sugars. Next comes the mashing. Mashing includes conversion of starch into sugar by integral hydrolyzing enzymes of the malt. This step takes place in large vessel known as mash tun that allow mixing of the milled grain with hot water, which is followed by multi-stage heating. The 4 major stages of mashing are peptonizing rest. It takes place at temperature around 50 degree centigrade. At this stage, the proteins are broken down into amino acids, which are utilized by the yeast for their growth. In addition, the substances that forms foam in the beer are produced during this stage. Maltose break between 62 to 64 degree centigrade. It marks the degradation of starch stored in the grain into a simpler sugar such as maltose, glucose, etc. Saccharification rest. It takes place at 70 to 72 degree centigrade. It is the complete conversion of water dissolved starch into sugars, which is necessary to produce clear beer without any turbidity due to undigested starch. Mash out. It takes place at 80 degree centigrade. It is done at high temperatures to stop the activity of the enzymes, to prevent excessive degradation of substances and production of undesirable flavors. This step is also used to reduce mash viscosity and to free out more sugars from the grains by sparkling water over them. Then mashing may be done by 2 methods, infusion and decoction. Infusion includes heating of grain in one vessel, whereas decoction comprises boiling of a proportion of grains which are then returned to the mash to raise its temperature. The mashing process results in sugar rich liquid called wort, which is separated from the solid residues by staining, and the process is called lautering. Wort is transferred to a copper vessel and boiled with the flavoring agent hop, which enhances aroma and bitterness of the beer. This stage is very important as the nature and quantity of hops decide the flavor and other characteristics of the beer. Boiling in traditional copper vessel provides protein precipitation, enzyme activity termination, concentration and sterilization of the wort. After boiling, the solid particles are separated in a settling tank known as whirlpool. In a whirlpool, the centrifugal force separates out the heavy solid residues at the center of the bottom of tank. Fermentation. The next step in brewing is fermentation, but before that the temperature of the wort is lowered down to the temperatures optimal for yeast activity. Generally, the wort is passed through a heat exchanger containing many rigid plates that help to dissipate heat transfer. Fermentation is carried out by yeast strain Saccharomyces cerevisiae or Saccharomyces pastorinus or bottom fermenting. The terms top or bottom fermenting are no longer valid as cylindroconical vessels are used generally for fermentation and conditioning purpose. The separation of yeast in such vessels is done from the bottom only in its flocculated form. Fermentation is classified as warm, cool, spontaneous as per the temperature requirement. Warm fermentation is carried out by Saccharomyces cerevisiae at 15 to 20 degrees centigrade temperature. Cool fermentation is carried out by Saccharomyces pastorinus at around 10 degrees centigrade temperature. Spontaneous fermentation is carried out by the wild yeast and bacteria of the oak barrels in which the fermentation takes place. There is no deliberate addition of specific yeast strain and a mixed culture is generally employed for the fermentation. Certain brands of beer follow an aging period of 1 to few months at freezing temperature, also called the conditioning or lagering. When the beer is separated from the bottom flocculated yeast and allowed to rest to develop a unique taste. Now, advantages of fermentation technology. Preservation and enriches food, improves digestibility and enhances the taste and flavors of foods. Potential of enhancing food safety by controlling the growth and multiplication of number of pathogens in the foods. Important contribution to human nutrition, particularly in developing countries, where economic problems pose a major barrier to ensuring food safety. Low energy consumption due to the mild operating conditions, relatively low capital and operating costs, relatively simple technologies. They cause specific and controlled changes to foods by using enzymes. Preservation and detoxification of the food, waste treatment, health related product. Now, finally, disadvantages of fermentation. Hazardous contamination always exists in fermented food. The uneven distribution of salt in lactic acid fermentation, fish products and contamination of aspergillus flavors in traditional starter culture for rice wine and soybean sauce result in severe food poisoning incidences. Then health, obesity, all these are the disadvantages related to the fermentation technology. In overall, we can conclude that fermentation technology has many advantages and with the advent of technology, it has led to production of different type of foods along with different flavors. We hope that the technology will further enhance to produce many more benefit for the coming human generations. Thank you.